Ooh la la. I will be sure that the lady's not a man. Do you want to learn how to play If I Ever Fall in Love Again with a man-loving lady, man-loving lady man? Me either. Alright guys, the chords and lyrics are up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/NatPicking. Now this song is in the key of B flat minor. So really, to make it easier, we're going to use a capo on the first fret. Okay, but if you don't have a capo, don't fret. Because I'm going to show you how to play it without a capo. And then if you want to play it in the original key, all you'll need to do is learn it like this, and then put your capo on the first fret and play it exactly as I'm about to teach you. The intro. A minor. Okay, take your first finger on the first fret of your second string, and then these two fingers here. Okay, and we're gonna play this rhythm. Okay, it's not a strum pattern; it's kind of a plucking pattern, and I'm gonna teach you that very shortly. But first, we're gonna go over the chords. So A minor. Second chord is an E7. So that is just first finger there on the first fret of your G string, and middle finger, that one there, on the second fret of your A string, and E bass here. Okay, so A minor. Oh man, Jason DeRulo. Alright, so the verses and the intro are all just switching between the A minor to the E7. Okay. Now to pluck it, we're going to use the bass notes. We're going to play with our thumb here. Okay, and then these three fingers are going to play the B, G, and D strings. Okay, so we're going to go. If you think of the rhythm like this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the pattern would be this: 1 and 2, and then on the 3. You're going to slap, so 1 and 2 and 3 and then on the 3 and, that's when you play the notes again, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay, and then you switch chords to the E7 and play 1 and 2 and, okay, so that's on the 1 and the 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay, so that's a rhythm: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So it's kind of on the offbeat, so 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And again, we're going to slap on the 3 again. Makes it really percussive. So that's the pattern: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So as long as you're slapping on the 3, and on the A minor chord you're playing the 1 and the 3 and, and then for the E chord you're playing the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and in there I'm putting in some plucked notes, some muted notes as well: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm going and 4 and. Those are just muted notes. I could put my hands anywhere and go and 4 and just play any 3 strings to give it that percussive, okay, to give it that sort of filling in sound. So it sounds like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so I'm going and 4 and. Doesn't matter where my hands are for that, it's just as long as it's filling in and playing those 3 notes, it sounds kind of cool. 1 and 2. Okay, and then note on the 4th round we're going, and we just follow the singing, then we go, and we just strum twice on the E7. If you say that jokes, I'm not going to try and sing, but I just did. there. So that's our verses done. Next we get to the chorus. So this is where we it changes to an F major 7. There's a few different ways you can play it. The first way is going to be like this. First finger here on the first fret of your B string. G string on the second fret. Oh, yuck, G string! And then third fret of your D string. That's an F major 7. Okay? And if I ever... Okay? If you're like me and you're able to, you can reach over with your thumb and play this low S on the first fret of your lower string. That's an F major 7. Got that nice open E note there on the higher string. So it's F major 7. Back to the E7. And then again to the F. That's so true. Back to the E. So we're just going F, E, F, E. I will be. Cool singing it. F. Sure that the E plays just like you. That's an A sus. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting my little finger here. Actually, it's just like an A chord. You know an A chord. You better. If you don't know an A chord, do me a favor. Pick up your guitar, throw it out the nearest window, and then quit playing forever. Because how do you not know it? I'm just kidding. It's really easy. Just these 3 fingers, or any 3. I'm going to recommend these 3. Little, ring, and middle. On the second fret of your B, G, and A strings, like so. Then you're just going to slide your little finger up 1, so it's on the 3rd fret now. And then bring it down to the 2nd fret. A sus. Bass note being now, the A. So wherever you sing A sus on the chord sheet, that's what you're going to play. Okay, so again. And if I ever fall in love again, I will be sure that the rain a friend. And if I ever fall in love so true, I will be sure that the lady does a poo. It's good for your health. At least once a day. Alright, so that's the verses. That chorus is done. Now we're going to go to the bridge, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways to play this. The first way is using open chords, so it's an easier version. So we're going to take our first finger and bar the first 2 strings on the 1st fret, and then middle finger is going to go there on the 2nd fret of your G string. Oh, yuck! And then open D. Okay, that's your bass. D. It's called a D minor 7. Oh, what are the words? That part. Okay, so we're going D minor, just pluck it once, 2, you go 1 and 2 and then you change on the 3 to a C chord with an E bass. That's your E bass there. Okay, so normal C chord, but open E bass. And then F major 7, and back to the C with the E bass. Okay, so the bass really is going boom, 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 boom. And it just repeats there. D minor 7, C with the E bass, F, C with the E bass, D minor, my friend. Just switching between those 3 chords. My friend! Okay, and then the last one, then it's going to suddenly switch to the and if I ever fall, back to the chorus. Okay, that's the whole song done. Now I'm just going to show you the bridge in another form that I think is going to sound even better. They're as bar chords. Okay, so you're going to bar the 5th fret like so, A minor 7 shape above it, and then you just move that 2 frets higher. F major 7 is a bar shape. There's a bar chord, an A major 7 shape. So that's barring the 8th fret, and then you're going to put your little finger on the 10th fret of your B. Middle finger is going to go to the 9th fret of your G, and ring finger goes to the 10th fret of your D. Oh! Okay, F major 7. And then back down to the C with the E bass. Okay, so we're going move it up to F major 7, boom, 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 and then as bar chords, quite simply, first finger on the 5th fret of your B string, 5, 6, 7, open A bass, okay? And and then you just put your little finger down onto the 7th fret of your G, and then take it off. It sounds like that. So. Yeah, baby. Thanks for watching, boys. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. And if you have, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Yeah. Anyway. And you can also subscribe, which would be cool. You can also follow us on Snapchat and Instagram and all those other cool things that we do as well. So, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. It means a lot to us. And don't forget that the chords and lyrics are on our Facebook page. You can comment below with what song you want us to teach you next and any questions that you might have. God bless you guys. Much love and goodbye.